Hey everyone, it's Tim from Horror Movie Yearbook with a quick look at what's going on across the Midwest Podcast Network. The Game Nerds have a new episode out this week, and it's all about their most anticipated releases of the upcoming year. Check out Alex, Brian, and John by subscribing to the Midwest Game Nerds wherever you get your podcasts. The Game Nerds also have a new Side Quest episode out, currently available for Midwest Podcast Network Patreon subscribers, where they discuss Marco's Pizza and the new Amazon series Mr. and Mrs. Smith. And speaking of our Patreon, Willie and I just recorded a Tiny Terror where we asked some of our horror movie crushes to be our Valentines. We also preview the upcoming Superior Championship Wrestling event, Valentine's Day of Destruction, where Willie will be calling the action. You can check out both of these episodes now for only $1 at patreon.com/Midwest Podcast Network. And one more thing, make sure to subscribe to Horror Movie Yearbook on YouTube, where I will be posting a video covering my favorite new horror movies from the month of January. And yes, I know it's almost mid-February. Thank you for listening, and now on to the show. Hello, everybody. It's Horror Movie Yearbook. We're back. We took a week off.
Yes, you had a bit of a little bit of a trip.
I had a family vacation. It was a nice little
family vacay.
Yeah.
And then I delayed it anyway. Well, it was funny because we love our communication skills, Tim. You left, and then you felt bad for not mentioning it to me. And then I texted you and felt bad because I had to postpone because what happened?
You got sick, right?
Was I sick?
Or no. Yeah, weren't you sick? You had a stomach bug, is what you said.
Yeah, I didn't. But yeah, it was in the house.
It was in the house.
Yes.
Okay. So what happened also was, too, and I mentioned it on the last main episode, was I go, I got to talk to you. We'll be off a week. And then I never talked to you before I left. I said, we got to take the next week off.
That's funny. And I didn't even catch it at the time.
You go, I think you said okay. And then I go, I'll talk to you after because I don't want to tell you on air.
And then we went late, which we're definitely doing tonight.
Yes.
That's funny. Hey, you know what? Look, we've been doing this a long time, you know?
What do we want to do? horrormovieyearbook@gmail.com.
Yeah, you know what? Look, we are not, we just have not been super active on social media. And to be honest with you, it's not that we don't love you guys. It's just that, I don't like to be on social media that much anymore. I just don't.
Twitter, X, whatever, most of the ads are just I just get bombarded with Shark Tank ads when I go on there.
Yeah, which seems on brand.
I love Shark Tank. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, I like Shark Tank. I'm not shitting on Shark Tank, but just email us. Shoot us an email.
Yeah.
Or if you want to interact directly with us, join our Discord. Check us out on Discord.
Oh, absolutely! Yes.
Jump on our Patreon.
Yeah. Is our Discord open to the public? I think
no. So it does require a Patreon subscription, but I believe there's.
I think you can even get access. If you're someone who wants to go, I'll pitch in $1.
I think it's $1 a month or something. Yeah, it's super cheap. So jump in, chat with us. We've got some lively discussions going on in there all the time.
Yeah.
I've been a little more active in there, which is nice.
Yeah.
I feel like I kind of dropped off for a bit because it's just busy. And So shoot us an email, horrormovieyearbook@gmail.com, or join the Discord. It's fun. It's a good time.
We've got a cool movie coming up later. I want to know though, have you been watching anything horror related or not?
Yeah, so we are burning through. I think tomorrow is the last day of our Paramount Plus subscription. We've done 2 months of Paramount Plus, and now we're kind of winding down from that. We're going to do something different next. I was disappointed, though, because I was watching a show called The Circus, which is all about...
the Showtime show, right?
Yeah. And I watched most of the first season, and then Nikki kind of got into it. We went back to the beginning and we watched it together. You've been there. It happens. Yep. And then I went, oh, my God, there's 8 seasons of this, and I'm not going to finish. I have...
I'm going to ask you this though, related to it. Do you like to do like a test run with the spouse in the room? I do this sometimes where I'm like, I'll throw something on while my wife is in the room, and like I'll watch it, and then if she gets interested in it,
gauge the interest.
I'll see if like she wants to keep watching it with me or not.
No.
Okay.
I probably should.
My wife and I have different tastes in a lot of the time in entertainment. We have similar tastes in some areas, but different tastes in other areas. Like my wife doesn't like horror, and I don't like cooking shows.
It's interesting though, because I feel like I don't like Nikki and I have very similar interests, but we also have very different ones too. So
right,
like Nikki's doing a rewatch of Dawson's Creek right now.
Yeah.
By the way, I was like 2 days ago when I learned that I Don't Want to Wait is not the theme on anything beyond the initial broadcast.
Wait a minute though. On the initial broadcast, or is that just the streaming versions of the show? Because
the DVDs do not have I Don't Want to Wait.
Me and my wife have been watching Charmed a little bit recently.
Okay.
It's like my wife's favorite show, and
sure.
They don't use the theme song because they don't have the rights for streaming.
Licensed,
yeah,
right,
and I can't remember the.
No, the DVD as well.
Yeah, that's
of Dawson's Creek does not have
Okay.
I Don't Want to Wait. It has like a more of a song that was like a stock song. something.
right. Yeah, I was disappointed in that too because I watched
Yeah.
I watched the first season a long time ago now.
Yeah, you did a rewatch a little ways back, right?
Yeah, I fell out like I do sometimes.
Did you?
It
Okay.
wasn't bad, but like
You
it's
just-
just one of those
yeah,
things.
well.
Sometimes it happens.
It's a long show, isn't it?
4 or 5 seasons, I want to say.
No, that's not too bad.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's okay.
I liked it because it's Kevin Williamson.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sharp
I like
writing.
Kevin Williamson.
Anyway, sorry. So, no, I do not do test watches. I probably should. But I can tell you there's been so many times when I've watched something and then she's been in the room and gone, and I go, all right, let's run it back.
Yeah.
Which is fine. I love it. I love watching shows and stuff with her, so I'm cool with it. I don't mind one bit. So yeah, we've been burning through Paramount Plus. Obviously, we finished Yellow Jackets, which was an inspiration for our movie.
This episode tonight. We'll talk a little bit. I think Yellow Jackets.
We'll talk
come
some
up.
Yellow Jackets. Yep. And then we watched Bodies, Bodies, Bodies.
Oh yeah,
which I thought was fun.
That ending's really good though, right?
Yeah. I enjoyed
love
it.
the ending. Yeah,
I enjoyed it. Yeah, it's silly, but it's fun.
Yeah.
I dug it. Yeah.
Are you anti Pete Davidson?
I know. I'm not anti.
I'm not either.
I don't think he's just. I guess
he's like I've never like.
I don't get the appeal, but I also don't dislike the guy.
Yeah.
Like I don't get why he's like, oh my God, Pete Davidson. Like it seems like he's like.
Yeah.
I don't know why he's on Taco Bell commercials.
I think it's because he's a stoner, right?
Okay, that makes sense. But I don't dislike him. No,
he's made me laugh a few times.
I feel like I don't understand like the adoration or the hate.
No,
he's
that's
kind of like,
yeah,
he's all right.
Yeah,
and he'd probably like it that way. Like, yeah, he's all right. He seems like
I think he's funny in the movie. I think
he's funny in the movie. Yeah, everybody's great. Yeah, it's a fun.
He's playing Pete Davidson.
I
don't think Pete has a lot of range.
Probably not. I haven't seen his entire body of work, but it seems pretty Pete Davidson from what I'm aware of. But yeah, no, we watched that and I liked it. I like that we've seen a bit of a slasher renaissance of all flavors. We've got stuff that's kind of just down and dirty and nasty, like X.
Yeah.
We've got stuff that is kind of more of a whodunit, fun, 90s inspired things going on with a variety of streaming movies I've seen lately. That series on Netflix with the 3 decades.
Oh, Fear Street.
Fear Street, yeah. Like that's a good example of that. Or even Sick is another good example of that, like kind of 90s throwback with Kevin Williamson.
Yep.
Funny enough. I've actually
we have had a little bit of a slasher revival here lately.
We have, yeah. And
we got a couple missing though. It's a bummer, but
I know.
The other thing too, you mentioned a couple of the movies there too, and Bodies, Bodies, Bodies is an A24 movie, and I could be hit or miss on that, but I like that they've let their hair down a little bit lately. Because Talk to Me, have you seen Talk to Me yet?
I have not yet.
Okay,
but
it's
I
a
would
little
like to,
bit.
Yes,
it's Talk to Me is a lot of fun, and sometimes I don't associate fun with A24 movies, so that's what I'll say. And Bodies, 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 I thought was a lot of fun too.
Yeah, I definitely dug it. we started Men.
Okay.
That Scarlet movie, and then we didn't because I realized Nikki had never seen Sunshine, and I went, we're watching Sunshine.
You made the right choice.
And so we rented Sunshine because it's not available on anything but Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
And I'm going to suggest Sunshine for us to cover at some point.
Okay.
Doesn't have to be next, but because I think you got the next pick.
I got the next pick, and I know what I'm doing. Yeah.
I do want to do Sunshine.
Maybe after, or yeah.
Maybe. I want to do a space horror. It's been a while.
It has, yeah.
As long as yours isn't a space horror. Well, we'll get
mine is not a space horror.
Okay. Sunshine, man.
Yeah.
I fucking love Sunshine.
So you're not like anti the third act?
No.
With the blur monster?
No.
I used to be, but like last time I rewatched it, it worked for me.
Yeah,
more. Yeah,
love it. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah,
it's an already great movie that I understand why like the diversion kind of throws people. I get that, but like for me, I'm cool with it. Like it yeah, I love that movie. So it was really fun to rewatch that because it's been a while. It is not like you can't get the Blu-ray. It's gone.
Really?
It's out of print. Like done. Like that. Like
you can only rent it.
I was gonna buy it. And it's not available. Like,
what a bummer. Yeah, because that's a great movie.
I could go on a rant right now about lost media, but anyway, watch Sunshine because it's great. Tim, what about you, man?
All right, so I have been watching the new season of True Detective, Night Country.
No spoilers, please.
I am going to stay. I'm going to stay spoiler free. I do
want to watch it.
Yeah.
So.
Issa Lopez.
Did you like? Okay, hold on.
Okay,
real quick.
Yeah, let's do
season 1. I think is like one of the great seasons of TV. Period. Ever.
Yeah,
like,
I think it's
ever.
great. I like season 1.
Okay, so we're in the same boat. Season 2 is hysterical. Also one of the great seasons of TV.
for different
not for
reasons.
the same reason.
I put this in the Discord too. I think season 2 burned me a little more than I thought because when season 3 came around, I go, I don't want to watch this.
Did you watch season 3?
I did not.
Quite good.
Okay.
Never captures the level of 1, but I really enjoyed it. I think Stephen Dorff, man.
Dorff, come on. Dorff's in it, and
Dorff's really good.
Yeah, Mahershala's in it, right?
Yes. They're both really good.
You know what? I might go back.
and watch it. Honestly,
now that this one's out, because I don't know. I saw Pizzolatto. He's a lot. And because 2 was it was so much. 2 was like so much.
2 was a book.
Yes,
but like not adapted for screen.
Yeah.
So 3. Go back and rewatch 3. So you've been watching season 4. Talk to me about season 4. Tell me why I should watch season 4.
Issa Lopez is the writer and director. She did a movie called Tigers Are Not Afraid, I think in 2019.
Got a ton of buzz when it came out.
Yes, I liked it a lot. Yep. It's very early Guillermo del Toro, like a Devil's Backbone.
Very Devil's Backbone. Yes.
She's a horror filmmaker, and so I was intrigued when I saw she was doing it because I was just not interested after because I skipped 3 and I'm like, I don't know.
You like Jodie too, right?
I like Jodie Foster.
Yeah, me too.
A lot. And she is. It's nice to see her get a role like this because she's got a lot to work with. It's a different role for her, I think, too. And she gets to be funny, and
she's got a good sense of humor in terms of like yeah.
Jodie Foster is great in it. John Hawkes is in it. It was excellent.
I love John Hawkes.
Yes. So I think this season, I'm going to try not to spoil, but I will say it's very horror slanted. I think that seems to be a bit controversial.
I know a bit about the show.
There seems to be a split in the fan base or at least people who watch True Detective who want a more grounded
versus
I think if I go back and listen to that True Detective episode, weirdly enough, was the when I met my wife, kind of one of the first times. So we were recording that. Yeah.
How great is that?
So
was she on the episode?
No, she was hanging out. Yeah, because we were recording that at Nick and Rick's.
Yeah, we had people hang out.
People would just come in and out. Yeah. So
man, those days were sweet.
You could just because people just show up at a house.
My cat just kind of pops in from time to time. Yeah.
Like we get done with work and we just hang out at your house. Or
let's go record some shit.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm sorry.
So I think if
there's a split between the fan base in terms of.
I remember wanting season 1 to kind of go full supernatural cosmic horror.
That's our vibe.
Yes, and it didn't do it, and I didn't hate it. It still worked for me, but I wouldn't have hated it if it went.
It never denies that though.
That's the thing.
It never fully denies the possibility of that.
Right. So this so far is what I wanted, I think, and it's. But I will say, I don't think this is for everybody because it does seem like very much like a horror fan's True Detective so far. Like there's stuff to like. There's like
I've heard of the Corpsicle.
Okay, I was gonna say like there's references to like Dead and Buried and stuff like because it's made by a horror fan.
I've heard that like it's very inspired by The Thing.
Yeah, I would say that is
in its setting and its tone,
kind of accurate. I will say, I don't feel like it's like ripping off.
No.
Yeah, I think it's,
yeah.
And you know what? It's kind of surprisingly funny too. Like I laugh a few times that episode. And I do want to point this out. Like I have had, and I'm not the only one. I have a decent TV. Like it's not like top of the line, but it's a good TV. But I remember that one episode of House of the Dragon. That everybody bitched about, where you couldn't see an entire
I haven't seen it, but I've heard it's
because it's all in the dark. And I don't want to limit that to just that show. A lot of scenes shot in the dark, I can't see anymore.
I think it's covering shit.
Yeah. It could be covering shit. It could just be piss poor lighting.
Yeah.
People not knowing how to light for like 4K digital, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm sure there are reasons for it.
Yeah.
But I want to give her credit because the night scenes in this, most of it takes place at night, and the night scenes are gorgeous. Like you can see everything; it's well shot. Just beautiful stuff. So yes, I have been enjoying it. The other thing I wanted to talk about, a couple more things here. There is a documentary that just hit on Shudder, and I was very excited for it. Dario Argento, Panico. This is I would say it's kind of like a biography of Dario Argento, the man. I will say, if you are going and looking for a film-by-film like journey throughout his career, or even more film-focused, there's a book I read last year called Dario Argento, The Man, the Myth, and the Magic that does that. It goes film-by-film through the major part of his career, but it keeps up, it joins him in he's who he is now.
It's not discussing the films, though.
A little, like it touches on them, but it more ties it into what was going on with him personally at the time.
Oh, wow.
I really like this, and I wasn't super into it at first because I was taken by surprise by the fact that it wasn't kind of like a career retrospective. Mm-hmm. The stuff that I think there are some good interviews. Guillermo del Toro's in it. Nicholas Winding Refn is in it.
Yeah, he's a fan.
Michael. Claudio Simonetti, guys throughout his career, but the best stuff in this comes in the back half, I think, when Asia and Fiore Argento join, and they kind of talk about their relationship growing up with their dad and how they looked up to him, and even kind of like the friction they had between the family. Yeah,
that's interesting. There's always been a lot of criticism of the fact that Dario directs his daughter in films where she's in sexual,
and they cover that. Yeah,
good.
Yeah,
good. They should.
They cover that.
Acknowledge it.
They're also Italian, though. I mean,
it's a little
So no, I just but yeah, they I think this is a documentary for people who are already familiar with his work and aren't looking for something that in depth. So that's what I'll say for this. But I really liked it. So
sounds cool.
Yeah, I would recommend that.
I'd watch it.
Non-horror stuff, real quick. I finished. This is my show now. I've jumped back into X-Men Evolution, but I'll talk about that next time. Superman and Lois season 3. I want to talk about real quick because I'm a Superman guy. I like Superman. I'm very much looking forward to the James Gunn Superman because I think.
Are you a Lois and Clark fan though?
I used to be when I was a kid.
Nice.
Yeah,
good.
I have not watched it since.
Would you rewatch it?
I would maybe watch select episodes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
I think I would if someone's like, oh, this is kind of like an adaptation
Scope
of this story.
out. Yeah.
I don't think I would start to finish. No. If someone could find me Adventures of Briscoe County Jr. though.
Oh. That's so sweet.
Yeah. I was not I was also not much of my wife was a Smallville guy. I was never a Smallville guy though either because I wanted to see him in the costume. I like Superman in the costume.
Yeah, I always complained about the and I wasn't the only one the Marvel Netflix stuff was so hesitant to make them the superhero.
Yeah.
But boy, if you didn't have the patience for that, you'd really hate Smallville.
That would be something but that's 10 seasons. I don't think I
can't do it.
I couldn't do it.
No.
If my wife said let's sit down, I might watch.
It's too much of a hurdle for me to overcome at this point.
Yeah, so Superman and Lois the show picks up with him as he's a family man. They have Jonathan and Jordan. Jonathan he's DC has been shoving him down people's throats for the last 5 years as a character in the comics.
Superman as a kid in the comics?
No, Jonathan Kent.
Oh,
like his son.
I'm sorry.
He's like a big. Yeah, they do a lot with him.
Okay.
And some of the stuff I've read is good, but I will say this season is actually season 3 is my favorite season of the show so far. It's probably going to go down as the best season because the next season is the last. If they CW because it's not CW anymore, really. They've pretty much cut it down to like 10 episodes and cut it down to just the main 4 cast members.
Oh my! Wow.
So they're just like, you can finish this, but try to do it like.
Wrap it up
And like do it on the smallest budget possible.
So it's weird. Like, why do you think CW has done this?
I
thought this was
they got bought out.
Oh, okay.
They got bought out by a different company that's basically
has no interest in this.
They canceled pretty much 90% of the shows. Yeah, I think like this one did a last season, and I think they're doing like that Walker show with Jared Padalecki. That might be getting another one.
So what are they doing with this now? This channel? What is the plan? Do you know? Like,
WWE is going to be on it. NXT is going to be on it.
So it's gonna be like live.
They have like they have that. And they have like realities. The Saudi Golf League is on it. Yeah, it's gonna. They have like sports, and it's gonna be
a useless channel,
a hodgepodge of whatever they can get people to watch on it.
Yeah.
Right. Anyway,
like most.
Yes. Most
low end. Cable.
It's basically
it's
like
not even cable.
Yeah, it's like a broadcast network. Still,
weird.
Technically, it's weird. It's like remember PAX. And like Me TV.
Yes.
That's basically what it is now.
Oh, no.
So anyway, this is my favorite season because it's a little bit more Lois focused. Like she gets cancer in this season. And it kind of focuses on like the fact that Superman can't help her with this. They give a reason why they can't use krypton technology as bullshit, but whatever.
That's fine.
You know what? They gave a reason. So I'll give them that. But yeah, it's good because I like this show because it focuses on like the family aspect of it too. It feels like a CW family show.
Actually, yeah.
So it's on Max now. It's on CW. It's gonna get one more season, but I like the show, and this was my favorite season so far. So
nice.
Finish it up. But I think that's all I wanted to talk about here.
Good, man.
You've been playing anything you want to talk about?
Nah. WrestleQuest is fun.
WrestleQuest. That's is that a turn-based RPG?
Turn-based RPG. Yep. Yeah, I beat the Road Warriors.
I picked up a video game. Super Mario Wonder, where he turns into an elephant.
Yeah, I saw Peach can turn into an elephant too, right?
Yeah, I haven't played with her yet. Sorry, what were you saying? Macho Man is in this? You said?
Yeah, Macho Man. I beat the Road Warriors in a fight.
Oh, that's what you said. Yeah.
On the back of the war rig from Mad Max.
Good.
Yeah, you fight them in a ring that's set on where the guitar guy is.
Oh, the Doof Warrior.
Yeah. It's pretty sweet.
Is the Doof Warrior playable?
No. But you fight the Road Warriors there. That's fun. Sergeant Slaughter is my current manager. So
okay, so these are like licensed characters.
Yeah. Jake the Snake's in it. DDP's in it.
Interesting.
I saw Al Snow for a little bit.
Okay.
So
interesting.
Yeah, it's fun. It's a good time. Yeah. But that's about it. For me.
I picked up the Mario game. Because I thought like on my vacation like I'd have some time to play it, and then like I was so exhausted at the other day. I'm going
dude
bad.
I bring a book with me.
Yeah.
On every trip I take.
Yeah.
You know how much I read of it? Fucking zero. Because by the time you get to the point where like in the day where like I'm gonna read a book, you're not gonna read a book.
Right.
You want to sleep.
Yes, I've been chasing around this child all day.
Yes. You want to put on the TV on something you don't have to really think about, and then fall asleep to the sounds of that. That's it. Yep. Anyway,
so let me see. You want to do the time machine real quick? Time machine.
Yeah. So we're headed back to 1990,
March 16th, 1990. Now I have not done good work here for the time machine. You hit me with a time machine noise while I do this. What was that?
I don't know. It just felt right.
Very mysterious.
Felt like a
much like the monster here.
It felt like a solid, like a weird animalistic sound that the kids would make on the islands, or the conch. Yeah,
that's a good one.
Take your pick.
So what do you want? I'm going to bring it up here. Do you want music, movies?
Well, let's talk. Hey, let's talk some movies. So, what's funny about this movie in particular, in terms of its release date, is this came out on March 16th. So I had just turned 4 years old when this came out. My wife was 3 days shy of 4 years old.
Okay.
And one of my all-time favorite movies, if not my all-time favorite movie, I think was coming out like very soon after this.
This? Okay.
So
what's that?
TMNT 1990.
Oh, this would have been right after. Okay.
Yeah, so that actually that one came out in theaters March 30th. So it was 2 weeks after.
Okay.
TMNT came out. So
this is 8. So I've got the top 10, and this movie is in the top 10 at
of
the box
year.
office.
Wow.
No, of the weekend.
The weekend. Okay.
Yes. So this is in the top 10 movies of the weekend of March 16th, 1990.
I was going to say year would be surprising.
Yes.
Wow.
So number 10, Born on the 4th of July, the Oliver Stone movie.
Yeah, sure. Seen it. Good movie.
I like Oliver Stone to a point. There's a breaking point for his movies for me.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I like that.
I know where it is. Where is it for you? Do you know? Is it Natural Born Killers?
Natural Born Killers is not a movie I like,
No.
but it is a movie I like. There's things I respect about it.
I don't think I like anything post that though.
Yeah, like Nixon is really boring. The Bush movie he made is really boring. Alexander's not very good.
World Trade Center is not
very good.
Yeah,
I've not liked it much.
No.
Yeah, you're right. Maybe that is the breaking
I think
point.
that's the breaking point.
I'm trying to, yeah. But I like Born on the 4th of July. I think it's a good
Sure.
movie. I think it's
Platoon's an all-time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hard to Kill, which I believe is the Seagal movie.
Seagal movie.
Have you started reading that book?
Yeah. Not yet. No,
Okay.
no, not yet.
There are some good Seagal stories in that.
There's no Seagal story is bad.
If anybody out there does not know about the Steven Seagal SNL hosting,
oh god,
where they've cut like the Peacock version of it down to like 15 minutes
because it was so bad.
And he was such a maniac behind the scenes.
I have a personal Seagal story. A story that was told to me.
Okay.
I'm not going to talk about it, but
okay.
He was a dork. Yeah, Seagal. That was during that was post Under Siege, which was like his breakout, like I'm an action star now movie.
The early Seagal stuff is pretty good.
There's a couple fun movies,
straightforward. Yeah.
It's funny because like Under Siege like is my favorite, and then by the time we get to Under Siege 2, I go,
But then he starts getting like big. I'm more of a Van Damme guy. I like the Van Damme movies.
Yes,
I like his.
I am more of a Van Damme guy as well. I think he can actually act.
Me too.
He's not great.
He's much more charismatic as a young man too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Agreed.
Number 8, Lambada. No idea what that is.
La Bamba? No.
I thought it was La Bamba too, but no, Lambada. Is that a dance? Or am I thinking of
that sounds right.
Yeah. Bad Influence, number 7.
Bad Influence. Don't remember
do I even
this
want
one.
To
These are wow, man. Oh.
Yeah, so it's the top 10. Well, it's the weekend, so
yeah.
Number 6, Driving Miss Daisy. I know that one.
Classic.
Yeah.
Haven't seen it in years, but yeah.
Number 5, Blue Steel, which I think is the Jamie Lee movie where she's a cop.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes. It's all right.
Number 4, House Party, Kid and Play. I saw them. They were in a commercial the other day.
Yeah, that's right. They're still doing a thing. They're still touring, I think. Right?
Are they? Yeah.
I think they're still doing stuff together.
I'm sure they are. They showed up. I think they showed up. I watched the new House Party. There was like a Max.
There's a cameo.
Yeah, I think they have a cameo in the new House Party. Where they watched LeBron James' house.
That's right.
Yes.
I was always a House Party 2, the Pajama Jam guy.
The Pajama Jam? Yeah.
Yeah.
The House Party 2 movies, the House Party movies were out a lot back in the day.
A lot. Basic cable.
Yes. If you have basic cable, you saw the House Party movies at some point.
There's like 6 House Party movies.
Yeah, because they kept doing it. I only know
there were 3 Kid and Plays.
I know 3 Kid and Plays, and then I watched the new one. Like
there was a 4th one with another duo.
Okay.
But it was like direct to video, I think. It was like a Dumb and Dumber situation.
When Harry Met Lloyd.
Yeah.
House Party 4. This has what was that? Marquise Houston.
Oh, you looked it up.
Yeah, Megan Good is in it.
All right, like Megan Good. Yeah.
Then there's House Party Tonight's the Night.
That's the LeBron one, right?
No.
Oh.
That's 2013.
So there were 2 attempts at a reboot.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm not familiar with 4.
Bold choice.
Like I feel like I remember 4.
4 was the one without Kid and Play.
The cover.
First, yeah.
House Party. The next film 5 is Tonight's the Night, and then I think we get the reboot. because these did not take off, and the reboot didn't take off either. Because you can't do these without Kid and Play.
No,
it makes
they are House Party.
Yes,
I would love to see them do a House Party movie now with those two as the leads.
Yeah,
like they're older, they got kids.
Yes, and then maybe the kids have the house party, or do you want them to have the house party? Like the kids are away.
I want them to have the house party. Nah, fuck that, dude. I don't want the next generation. I want
them to recapture. Like the kids are gone,
and they're gonna, and then like they just like
maybe the wives have taken the kids on like a trip.
They go hard, and then like I want to see them the next day like dealing with that.
Like the kids and the wives come home early.
I want to see a reminder of like man's folly.
It gets really dark in the second half.
You've been hungover with a child at this point in your life.
Yeah.
It fucking sucks.
There's going to be another, like, I've got multiple weddings coming up this year, and I, like, very much looking forward to the weddings and the parties.
You're not looking forward to the next day.
Is like, I'm going to bring a jug of water with me to these receptions just so I can try to stem it off any way I can by hydrating all night. I may miss most of these receptions because I'll be in the bathroom peeing the whole night.
Yes, I'm here for you. So text me during these.
Yes. Oh, I'm sure I will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I know you
They
will.
won't make any sense, but I'm sure I will. Number 3, which we'll be talking about, is Lord of the Flies.
Yes.
Number 2, Joe versus the Volcano.
Yeah, this was Tom Hanks.
Tom Hanks. This was like a
early Tom Hanks.
Well, this was like, I don't remember this one being like much of a, like, was it kind of a bomb? I don't know.
I don't think it did super well.
Compared to
was it Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I couldn't remember.
So.
Tom Hanks, Daryl Hannah Splash.
Yes.
Okay.
This is like pre-Philadelphia Tom Hanks.
Yeah. This
There's
one
pre and post.
He was a comedic actor for the most part up until this point.
Yep.
Yeah. And then number 1, The Hunt for Red October, which is a good movie. I watched that not too long ago.
I haven't seen it in years.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
I remember as a kid thinking it was like the most boring thing I'd ever seen.
Yeah.
Like, they're just on a sub. This sucks.
Yeah.
Like, do something.
I
want to watch it now.
Watch it as like a dad now. I think you'll get into it.
It's a dad movie.
It's very much.
It's a dad movie.
Yeah, it is very much.
I'm excited.
What's my man? What's the book? Well, it's Hunt for October. It's Tom Clancy.
Is it Gresham?
No, Tom Clancy.
Clancy.
Grisham's the legal. I've started to read.
Gresham's legal. Yeah.
Yeah, I've started to read John Grisham books now. They're really good. Like,
does it feel right?
It does. Like, and I get like into them. I read the Firm, and then he just came out with a sequel to the Firm.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
He did a sequel, or he's doing a sequel to. Oh my gosh, Time to Kill, isn't he?
He might be. Yeah.
I heard something about like there's a sequel, like the same lawyer or something.
Grisham books are good. Like I like them. They're good like beach reads, kind of. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're good like beach reads. But I think Hunt for October is Clancy. I think it's
that makes sense. Yeah,
and then what's my man's name? I just got a couple of his books. Clive Cussler. That's a good dad author because he's always writing about like subs and ships and shit.
Yeah, boats.
Yes, boats. Any book that has a boat.
It's probably a Cussler.
It's a dad boat. It's a
Hell
dad
yeah,
book.
it's a dad book. Absolutely. Yes.
We did.
The deeper the boat.
I feel like
the more dad.
I feel like dad movies have been covers. We need to start like talking about dad books.
Oh my god, yeah.
Yeah.
Dad books would be sweet. Yeah.
Lord of the Flies.
Yes.
1990. This is the 1990 version. It is because there's a 1963 version as well.
Have you seen that?
I feel like I watched that version, the 63 version, in a class of mine.
Me too.
Yeah. This version I don't believe I've seen. I'm aware of it, but I don't believe I've seen it beforehand. I've read the book. I would call it a skimming, I guess, this time, like a refresher, just so I could I sped read it or speed read.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah,
just for a refresher on the book. So, but I had read it before.
I read it in school.
Yes,
it was an assigned book.
Yeah.
And I remember it being the first assigned book that I was like really into.
I need to
like really, really into.
Do you remember any other assigned books?
Yeah,
you had?
Catcher in the Rye.
Okay, yeah.
Of Mice and Men.
Okay.
The K, which is pretty good actually.
Animal Farm.
Yep.
Animal Farm, Great Gatsby.
Pigman.
Pigman.
The Pigman.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not. I don't think I was not assigned that one. I'm not familiar with that one. Scarlet Letter. Oh my gosh.
Didn't read that. That wasn't one. We read some Shakespeare too.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't remember which one it was, but
of the ones we've named off, yeah, this is probably my favorite of those. I like
Gatsby.
You like Gatsby?
No, but that's one of the ones. No, I don't like Gatsby.
Okay. Red Badge of Courage. You ever read the Red Badge?
No,
of Courage?
we didn't read that.
All right.
This was the one of there were 2 that I actually liked. So, did you guys do summer reading projects?
So what we would do, like what I recall, we would do is like we would have a certain amount of books you could hit, and then you would get like a trophy or a prize.
Different, okay.
We would not be assigned anything. It would all be free reading, essentially.
Okay. We got a list of books, like approved books.
Okay.
And then you had to pick one and read it over the summer. And then when you got in for the school year, you would be, here's the assignments you can do on the book you read over the summer. And I didn't read any of them. I read Pet Sematary by Stephen King in 6th grade. And they were like, well, why'd you read that? And they got upset, and they called my parents. My parents were like, that's way more advanced than all the stuff you're assigning them.
Yeah.
And they were like, I guess you're right. And then so I made a diorama. And it was of, I think it was Gage returning from the dead or something.
Sick. Do you have pictures of this anywhere?
Somewhere.
Oh, I want to see it.
It was pretty cool. It was him. Yeah, it was the muddy footprints on as he wakes up in bed, Lewis. And I made a little clay Lewis who was like waking up shocked in bed, and the muddy footprints were like going out. I felt really proud of it. I did good, man. Anyway, sorry. But Lord of the Flies, yes, assigned reading. Loved the book. One of my all-time favorite novels.
Yeah.
Certainly has its detractors and its criticisms, but what inspired me to watch this movie and talk about this movie was twofold. It was watching Yellow Jackets, which we'll talk about on Showtime, and then there was a Facebook post from fellow Midwest Podcast Network member Nick Blauvelt. His dad 007, posted a picture. It was like a meme thing about like a list of like, it was at a bookstore or a library, and it was like books you shouldn't read because they're terrible, and Lord of the Flies was on there. And Nick's dad was like, anybody agree with any of these? And I was like, I just responded, I'm like, hell no. Like, Lord of the Flies is a classic. Stop.
Okay, so 2 things about this meme I don't like. Especially when it comes to books, I don't like telling people anything like you should not read because it's terrible, because someone might like it.
Yeah.
Well, unless it's like like how to murder somebody. I don't know. That's the first thing I could think of.
Books are like music, though.
Yeah.
Where it's like, you like what you like.
And in this day and age, I want to encourage more reading amongst the population. Yes.
There's bad movies. I think we can all agree that.
Yes.
Yeah, you can still like the bad movie.
Yeah, but even then, I don't think I would ever tell anybody to not watch something.
It, yeah.
But also, the question I have was this like terrible in quality is what they're saying?
I can try and find the post. I don't remember what the sign on the rack said, but I'll try and look it up.
Okay.
But Nick's dad, to be fair, Dad 007 was not agreeing with this. He was saying like, what are your thoughts on this? Like this whole thing. So I'll have to dig into when it was, but but he's a big reader, so I was he a teacher? Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, he's a retired teacher. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. But I saw that and I went, man, I haven't thought about Lord of the Flies in a while. And then I was like, oh, you know what? It's actually kind of rad. Like I'm watching Yellow Jackets, which is very much inspired by Lord of the Flies. So maybe I should, give it
a whirl.
We should talk about it again. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
And this is so the 60s version is, from what I remember and what I've read, doing like kind of a refresh and research, it's much more what's the word I'm looking for? Faithful to the source material?
It is more faithful. So we were asked to watch the 60s version in our own time.
Okay.
How they expected us to do that, I don't know, because this is like way before streaming and stuff. But they wanted us to watch it or something, like check it out from the library or something. And the only version they had at my local video store was the 90 version, and I was like, I'll just watch that.
Yeah.
So like I watched this. This is the first thing I ever. Yeah.
Yeah, and reading the book. It's different. It's very different.
There's some big differences. It follows the same story beats.
Right.
For the most part, like the major beats are hit, but it's very different in a lot of important ways. Yeah.
So it was my first time watching this, so I'm going to give my general thoughts here. I liked this. It's darker than I thought. I like some of the changes, and I don't like some of the changes. But
I'm curious about that. Yeah.
Yeah. Overall, though, I think my thing with adaptations, and remember our old show Multimedia, but I think I've talked about this too, is like
We're gonna bring that back.
Yeah, if we had the time, I think it's
hard.
It's the timing is Well, this is pretty much what we can dive into this a little bit, do the similar thing. But I like. Sometimes I think to myself, well, you know what? If I want that story, I can go back and reread the book. I don't need a lot of the times movies, even like the best adaptations for me, come across as Cliff Notes versions of the books, and sometimes I like that because I just like I don't have 15 hours to read the book.
I want a breezy.
I want 2
90
hours.
minute. 2 hour. Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I also like because this feels like it updates it, and it's only 20 or so years. After or no, sorry.
No, it's
way no.
It's
I
like
was
50 years after. Yeah,
I did the math way wrong.
So,
but
the book was 43.
Book was 43. I had 63 in my brain because of the.
But still, it's a long time after. But it is an update. Yeah.
But it spins a lot of the fears coming out of coming through with World War II going on and updates them with like the Cold War stuff.
Yes,
and I like that. And so my thing too is like if you're gonna make something like an adaptation that far after the original, I think it's cool to kind of update it for the times. And I do think this is a timeless story in a lot of ways, but in some ways because that stuff, the fear of in World War II, like the nuclear fear and everything, like that stuff is in the original book.
Absolutely, yeah.
But it's also in the 80s, but it's there are different reasons for it.
There's a different source for the fear,
right?
Well, and I think that. Well, let's talk about the big changes real quick. Like,
how do you want to approach this movie? I don't want to go. I don't know if I want to go through the plot.
No, I don't either.
I kind of let's talk about the differences first. Yeah,
talk about that. Yeah. That makes sense. So switching the castaways to American children. That's a big one right there.
I like this.
I do too.
Yep.
It makes sense for this movie. It makes sense for the audience that they're trying to market the movie to, from a business standpoint. But there's another change to the castaways here, and I think you could argue for or against the change. It's that they are no longer like just schoolmates. Or in the case of the book, I believe they were all on the same soccer team. Or,
I think that,
football team.
Yes, football because they're Brits.
Yes. But in this version, they are all military students, military academy students,
right?
Which infers that they all are coming from troubled pasts or have had troubles. They were sent to military school for a reason.
Right.
It's even talked about and mentioned that Jack's character, who becomes kind of the ringleader of the savage tribe, I guess, if you want to call him that. That he like stole a car to get in trouble to wind up in military school. Like that's all mentioned in this movie. I'm of two minds on this one because on one hand I'm like, okay, I like the idea that these are already kids that have. These are already troubled kids, and it almost makes me buy into the idea more that they could easily fall into those,
right?
The violence and the they've had their issues in the past with authority, right? And I could see how they could easily fall into that without any sort of like moral compass. On the flip side, I think it's more effective that you get these prim, proper British boys who come off very clean cut in the book and there's just a vibe that kind of like that, like I said, the prim and proper thing, and that totally degenerate into the opposite of that. For that reason, I think the book works better for me. I like the British boys thing because it really shows you the depths to which someone can sink if pushed to the brink, you know?
I like the change I mentioned. I like the change to the American boys because it's a different spin on the original. It's like this movie reminds me of like, I'm trying to think of like songs that aren't remakes but sound. You know what? The Lady Gaga song is it "Bad Romance" that sounds like "Express Yourself"? I think.
Yes.
Real Born This Way. I can't remember. There's a Lady Gaga song that sounds exactly like "Express Yourself" by Madonna. It's like the same song, only different lyrics.
Yeah.
And I go, oh, I think that's kind of a cool way to just remake a song in its own way.
Right.
That's kind of what this feels like, if that makes sense.
I get that.
I kind of like it too because I like the kids are they're a little crasser in this movie too.
Well, and that's an American thing.
It's an American thing, and it also like it's a young boy thing. Young boys can be mean, and they can be shitty, and they can be bullies.
Yeah,
and especially if they're put into a stressful situation like they are here. I kind of like that they call Piggy after Miss Piggy. I like the pop culture.
That was
stuff
a fun touch. Yes,
yeah. They talk about Alf a little bit too. I kind of like the pop.
I like that too because it doesn't feel like it's pandering to modern audiences. It's just bringing the story, making the story feel more relevant. If they had made the story in 1990, but set it back during World War II, or just post World War II, like I don't think it would have worked as well.
Yeah. Now,
I just don't think it would have worked as well. Yeah.
The change you talked about to making them they're in the military.
The military, yeah.
I don't like that, and it doesn't ruin the movie for me.
No.
But I don't like it for the reason you mentioned. I should say the novel works the best for me. The book works the best for me. I don't like it because, like you said, it's implied that they're quote unquote troubled kids. I like in the book that it's what I took from it, and one of its themes is that anybody can descend, anybody can reach this dark place, and anybody can descend into savagery. Yep. I think when you make it quote unquote troubled kids, you're weakening that idea to me.
Yeah, because you're establishing that there's a darkness in these specific kids without. You don't need that.
Right.
It's not necessary.
Do you want to... okay, so...
Okay, another big one.
Yeah.
The survival of the captain.
Yeah, that was the next one I wanted to talk about.
Let's talk about that a little bit.
I don't like that one either.
You don't like it?
I don't like it.
Tell me why.
Because in the book, there's no survival of... and there's no adult presence at all. And I kind of like how dark the idea is. That even like when we think of kids, we think of innocence a lot of the time, and I like the idea that like I kind of like the darkness of like I said, even these innocent kids or whatever can be can turn into savage little shits, and I think the idea that there's not an authority figure kind of plays into that too. The captain stuff to me. Just the idea of having him around, because he's in the back of your mind the entire movie. The authority figure is constantly with you during the entire movie. So I think that it kind of weakens that idea as well for me.
I don't disagree. I think the only reason they incorporated the captain into this was to reincorporate him as what winds up being perceived as the beast in the cave later on.
Right.
Which admittedly kind of feels more organic than, I believe it's a parachutist in the book that winds up randomly falling on the island. Yeah. I think they both had, like, it being the captain who has, like, stumbled off into the woods in a crazed, like, wounded, like, just totally whacked out stupor, that makes more sense that they find him in a cave.
Yes.
Some random parachutist winding up on the exact same tiny little island, we assume, as them, and then being in the, like, the captain reads, I get from an expediency standpoint and a filmmaking standpoint why the captain was chosen to fill the place of that random visitor, I guess.
Right.
But I wonder if there's a way they could have still made it the captain without making him a presence throughout the course of the first act of the movie.
I think it would have worked better if I didn't see him until like the end of the movie. Almost like, because the end of the movie, it made me laugh, honestly, when he shows up at the very end.
If you show the captain, show the captain flying the plane, right?
Right.
And then...
The problem is that first shot of the movie is awesome when he's like,
it's so sweet,
so good. Like I was like blown away because he's like falling slowly and the blood's like.
If you show the so you show that, right? Let's say you show that, or you should even show like on the flight like show the flight for a second, show the boys being boys,
right,
for a second, and establish what the captain looks like in his naval, his pilot suit, whatever, for the dumb American audience.
Yeah.
And I'm using air quotes there, kind of. And then don't show him survive the crash. Let the boys have no adult presence,
because they show him on the beach with them
a lot,
and then I think the other misstep,
and he gets up and like wanders off in the night, and that's like
I think that, and then the other misstep is they have a dream sequence with him too, right?
I want none of that.
The dream sequence is a step too far for me too.
Yes,
yeah,
I agree.
Yep.
Don't show him again until he's dead in the cave. After Simon's already seen him in the cave and ran out, and the boys come in and start, like, the one boy goes in and stabs him. Does Simon stab him? No, Simon doesn't stab him, does he? Someone goes in the cave and stabs the pilot.
Right.
Simon does encounter him in the cave.
Yes.
Which leads us to our next big change we should talk about, which is the Lord of the Flies himself. That's a big one.
Yeah.
So it's funny because both filmed versions of the story,
they both deviate.
Both English language. There's an Indian version, which I've not seen. I'd like to watch that actually.
There's another. What's his name? The guy that did Suspiria's directing it, right?
Okay, so there's two.
Well, no, it's coming out. Sorry,
there's two things coming out.
Oh, okay.
Yes, the guy who directed Suspiria,
Luca
Guadagnino.
I cannot pronounce his last name.
I'm sorry, Luca.
Yeah.
You're not listening, but yes.
No, he is.
You know who you are.
horrormovieyearbook@gmail.com.
Yes.
Send us a voice
Luca.
memo
Yes.
pronouncing your last name,
please. Because we're too lazy to Google it, and yeah. I really liked his Suspiria, and I've heard from somebody at the studio, like, he's really leaning into the horror.
Yeah.
I'm down. Like, let's go.
I think he's a good choice for that. Yeah.
Yes. Do your own thing, though. Like, do your own thing. But it might make a nice sister piece, like companion piece to Suspiria, which is a very female-driven horror story, psychological horror story. If he can do a very male-driven, like, I kind of dig that. Like, anyway, down for that. The BBC is also doing a series.
Okay, that'll be
a mini-series.
That'll be good.
So that could be very good, too. Anyway.
So, anyway, back to The Beast.
There's two versions coming out.
Lord
So,
of
The
Flies.
Beast. Both filmed versions, English language film versions of this, completely ignore the actual scene of Simon, who in all versions seems like he's more connected to spirituality, more connected to... Simon's my favorite character in the whole thing. Like, Simon is the voice of reason. Simon comes off as a kid who is, probably too good to live. I
like Simon too. Yeah.
He's like too good to live. Like, he's too good to survive this situation. But I love Simon for that. Like, in the book, he actually, whether he's it's never outright stated what's happening because you're getting it from Simon's perspective. But he speaks to the severed pig's head.
Yep.
Like, they talk. There is a conversation. There is more of a hint of that in the 60s film, but no words are ever spoken still.
Okay.
And in this one, it's even briefer, where he just kind of stares at the head, and it stares back, and that's the end of it. I don't need this.
Yeah, I'm of two minds of this, too. Yeah.
I don't need this. But could it be insanely cool if it's, like, done well? Yes.
Yeah.
And I think that we're going to see that in a future. It's missing because...
I don't know. If we're talking about this movie, I'm trying to think if, like, how I would have felt if that scene occurred. I don't know if it fits tonally.
It doesn't. This movie is too practical.
Yes.
This movie is too... But by practical, I mean it's too... This movie is too grounded, and I hate that. But, like, this movie feels like, let's make Lord of the Flies, but make it, like, real kid, like, now kids.
Right.
And it would feel weird to have that pop up.
That's a change that I'm kind of agnostic. Like, I get it. Like, I kind of get it.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of like, whatever. I'm not. I don't really have a feeling either way on that. I like it in the book. I didn't need it in this movie. I'm with you. I would like to see it in one of those next two adaptations.
Agreed.
Yeah.
In a different version of this story, like a filmed version of the story, I'd love it. Like I'm all for it. In this version, it's not missed for me. And a lot of people, there's a lot of criticisms about this movie, and like the one I see a lot is that scene missing, and I don't know, I don't see where that. This version of the story, to me, I don't see where that fits. I don't see it wouldn't take away from anything, but it would almost be distracting in a lot of ways. And that's the other like major change. The grand finale, there's a bit of a change too in terms of you get a little bit more of the reaction, the internal reaction of the
I think this movie does a good job of that, by the way.
Yes.
I think it does a good job conveying the characters' like internal reactions. Yes.
The performances are really, I think, really strong.
These kids are good. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so too. And only a couple went on to do anything beyond this. James Badgedale, of course, went on to do a ton of stuff.
Yeah, and who's the other person in this?
And then Balthazar Getty went on to do a bunch of stuff too. Yeah. So, but the reaction in the book of the naval captain who shows up as the first adult they see pre-rescue is like he's almost embarrassed for these kids. Right. And I don't get that from the ending of this. There's I think Bob Peck plays the shooter. Yeah. Yes. Clever girl. He plays the captain at the end that discovers them, the Navy captain. Yep. And I don't get the embarrassment thing from him at the end of this. I get kind of like he's a surprise, like what's happening? Like he's very like in the moment. I actually kind of like this better than the book because in the book there's actually like I think
this was what I was thinking of. Yeah, there's
an internal moment where he says like, like these gross little scrubby. Yeah.
This is what I was talking about earlier. Sorry, I got it jumbled in my brain. Like this is the part that the ending I got a chuckle out of it. Like it was almost kind of like darkly humorous to me when he shows up. So yeah.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Because it's like everything that they did was for like nothing. Yeah. It meant nothing. I want to talk briefly about the character, like just the leads, real quick. We talked about Simon. We both like Simon. Mm-hmm. Simon's an important piece because when Simon dies, innocence dies. Like that's it. Yes, that's the moment when things turn. And I will say, Simon's death in this movie, like that's my like. It haunted me as a kid when I saw this. So because I was kind of going through this in the early, and you had mentioned like early on, we're not sure if like it's not really a horror movie. Like we're kind of, and then like the scene around like when Simon is killed, or it's like they kill him in hell, basically. Like it's the lighting. Yes, it's crazy. The editing, the chanting of the kids. Like you can hear the squelching of the. Yeah, that's more horrifying than a lot of the stuff we've talked about. Yeah, it's rough. It's really dark. And here's this kid who's just trying to like tell them you're all wrong. It's good. We're good. Like there's no monster. Like it's okay. Yeah. Like and he gets murdered for it. Yeah. Like. I remember like as a kid, there's a handful of scenes in movies that like the imagery in the scene like sticks in my still today. Like I watched it now and I'm not affected by it, and it like doesn't like I don't have like Vietnam flashbacks or something from it, but like it like I go, oh God, I remember how I felt. Like the scenes of the lightning flashing. And all like the only time you see Simon's body is illuminated with lightning flashing on the beach as he kind of like gradually drifts out, and the kid's reaction to it, and like them looking at almost like, what did we do? There's some really good shots and like there's some great moments we talked about at the beginning. I don't think Harry Hook has really gone on to do much else. It's an impressive movie. Yeah. But yeah, no, Simon's great. And it's that scene is really, really rough. Ralph, love Ralph. That's a guy who sticks by his guns. Yeah. Natural leader. I think Balthazar Getty's really good in the role. Insane that he broke both arms before filming. I did not know that. Yeah. He broke both his arms. That's why he's in a cast for the first. The one arm healed enough to not have a cast. The other one, that's why he's in a cast for the first half of the movie.
Okay.
And the director liked the kid enough to we'll make it work. Like, he fell out of a tree or something. Like, was playing and broke both his arms. And the director's like, no, we're gonna, I mean, plane crash, broken arm,
absolutely.
Big deal. But Ralph is a really. I like Ralph in the book a lot, and I like Ralph in the movie quite a bit too. Jack's a weird one in this movie because Jack, like we talked about, it's hinted that he has kind of a dark past anyway.
Right.
And so it's weird because my criticism of Jack in the movie versus the book is that in this movie at least, his turn happens so fast. For runtime reasons, right?
I was going to say, this is a 90-minute movie, so it
has to be brisk.
Yes.
Yeah. But you almost, you kind of think he's a shit from the beginning.
The book, too, is kind of brisk. Well, the book's only a couple hundred pages, right?
It's not,
The first half is a little slower, and then I think the second half flies by.
But Jack seems a little bit more sympathetic in the book. Early on, he doesn't seem like he's a total dick. He kind of seems like a dick right out of the gate in the movie.
Right, and I think that goes along with what we've been talking about too with how it's played. But I think also because it's a truncated, a shorter time, we don't get to know him as much, and some of the internal monologue is lost.
Right? But I think we do. I think the actor who plays him gives a solid performance in the sense that in moments where there's a couple moments where even when they kill a chameleon in the movie, like the Simon's chameleon.
Yeah.
Jack gives a reaction of almost he accepts it at the end because he continues to carry on in that kind of savage direction. But there's a moment of him going "Ugh, that felt weird. I don't like that." And then he moves on and says, "Okay, we're gonna keep." When Simon dies, same thing. When Piggy dies, same thing. When Piggy dies, and they're by that point, Piggy dies. It's they're full on Lord of the Flies. They're full on, But even then, he reacts almost he doesn't react shocked or appalled for as long. He recovers, almost rallies quickly and tells Ralph, "Get the fuck out of here."
Yeah.
But he's still. There's a moment of him going "Oh my god!" We just killed him. So I like that. And then Piggy. We got to talk about Piggy.
Piggy. So I want to say this about Piggy. The kid when in the glasses breaking scene, the kid who plays him is really good.
I teared up.
He's really good.
He's so good.
Yeah.
Because he feels he's really good. I teared up in that scene. This time around, I was tearing up. I'm this poor little dude.
Yeah, it goes along with what we were saying. Kids can be mean and it's tough. I think it too. I do think that's as a parent. There is something to watching a young kid go through something.
Suffering
like that. Yeah.
And then he dies.
Yes. Well, that too, yeah.
Which is awful.
Yeah. This is it's a mean story.
It is.
And that's kind of what I dig about it too.
Yeah, I do too. One of the characters that does not get any play in this movie beyond just kind of being on screen and looking mean is the character. I don't remember the character's name. He's one of the kids who he's kind of Jack's lieutenant in a way.
Yeah.
He's the one who pushes the rock on Piggy.
Oh, that is the sound that makes too.
That character in the book, I think Ron. I think it's Ron is his name.
That sounds right. Yeah.
He's he's a sociopath out of the gate.
Mm-hmm.
In the book, they mention that he's he's off. Right. And I miss that in this movie. I'd like to see that in another adaptation. That one kid who's almost flourishing. That's my. I love that in Battle Royale. We've talked about Battle Royale on Multimedium.
Yes.
I love the idea of that one kid who they're all suffering in their own ways, even if some of them are trying to flourish through negative means, like a Jack. But I love the idea of that one person in the situation who's kind of into it.
Yeah.
Who's living their best life in the worst possible. It's scary as hell to me because those people are out there.
The people that are that would be excited to be in this situation. Yeah.
Yeah. That's the scariest person possible. So I hope they kind of deal with
carry that over.
Yeah. But I honestly I think it's crazy because
who is that in Yellow Jackets? It's kind of, it's what's her name?
It's definitely Christina Ricci's character.
Yes.
But they make her kind of lovable too. So it's weird.
Yeah.
She's a weird.
I love Christina Ricci in that show. I think she's phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, that is her character in that show. Is like she's the one that like she's like, oh,
she's living her best life. Yep, she's terrifying.
Yeah,
that show is so tongue in cheek a lot of the time that
right.
it's But no, she's the one for sure.
So do you want to? Are we good with the characters? You got any more you want to talk about?
Yeah, no, I feel good about I do want to say once the internet was available to me, which was not crazy long after I saw this movie, a little while after, I've seen and even now this movie gets a lot of hate.
When I came across it's divisive, especially among people that like the book.
Yeah, and I guess I don't get it. Like a lot of people will say oh, the '60s movie is I've seen both. And they'll say the '60s movie is far superior. Well, okay, maybe as a faithful adaptation, but I think the '90s movie is better. I'm sorry, I just do.
I think for our audience, who is a horror slanted audience, obviously, I think this is a good adaptation.
I think
watch.
so too.
Actually, I think this is a good movie to watch. Whether you
don't have to watch the movie, or I'm sorry, you don't have to read the book. Yeah,
I think you should read the book if you have it.
You should, yeah,
because I think it's good. And
but you don't have to.
It's a couple hour read. It's 2 or 3 hour read. But I think our audience would very much enjoy this movie.
I think so, yeah.
What I wanted to talk to you about is because we were going to segue into it a little bit, but some of the influences this movie, or this book,
the things,
the
that
story, and it had because you mentioned 2 of them. We've talked about 2 of them, but Battle Royale is a huge one.
Huge,
and
huge.
It's basically that same thing. I love Battle Royale is one of my favorites.
It's one of my favorite movies. Yeah,
yes,
it's
we read the book too, didn't we? Yeah, I have the book.
Yeah, the book's great too.
Yeah,
but also there's similarities between the book and the adaptation too, to this where the things that are cut make sense to me. The changes make sense to me. I don't always love them, but I get it.
Yes.
Battle Royale is a big one.
Yellow Jackets
we talked about.
Well,
a bunch.
you had we were talking that started off.
So there was an all-female Lord of the Flies. I don't know if it was a treatment or a script floating around for a while, and it was in various stages of pre-production, and it didn't get off the ground. And then it turned into a series, and then eventually Yellow Jackets came out. I don't know if Yellow Jackets is related to the original, all-female script, but it certainly was inspired by whatever was going on there. Because scripts linger and change and get passed around and stuff. So Yellow Jackets definitely, owes a ton to Lord of the Flies.
Yes. And I don't think he's shy about it either.
No.
Yellow Jacket, Lord of the Flies, and Lost is the other one I think of, just because of.
Yeah, Lost maybe not as directly in terms of we're not dealing with youth with kids on the island minus Walt, but you never say his name. You yell it. My son.
That's half of season 2, right?
It's having just done a rewatch. There's a lot of that.
Yes.
But. Poor Harold Perrineau.
He gets shafted in season 2. He does not get a lot to do.
Dude yells Walt, and that's my son.
I've heard his show was on that From. Is it? I've heard it's great.
It's on Amazon, I think.
Is it on Amazon now? Okay,
so.
I might check it out. Okay,
yeah, I've heard it's sweet.
I've heard it's great.
Yeah, there's Lost writers involved with that.
It's what's his name? Didn't he do
Javier?
Didn't he do Bates Motel too? Is it the guy who did Bates Motel? Yeah.
Is it? No, is it Carlton?
Oh wait, Carlton Cuse is doing Reacher now.
Carlton Cuse did Bates, I think.
Yes, and I liked Bates a lot actually.
But Javier, I don't know. We'll look it up.
I'm gonna look it up
anyway. But it certainly inspired Yellow Jackets, which is worth a watch. I think it has its ups and downs, but it's worth a watch. And then Lost, which is one of my all-time favorite shows. Probably my favorite drama. My all-time favorite drama.
Jack Bender was a director on Lost, and he's involved in it.
Bender.
Yeah. Sorry, I just wanted to. He's involved in From.
Yes.
Sorry.
One of my all-time favorite shows, probably my favorite dramatic show, is
Lost.
And I don't, it's funny. I've always searched since Lost was on the air. I've searched for what can anything quite reach that? I never quite found it.
Yeah,
I gotten close.
You think
I
might
thought
just be
I found it, but
of the time? What is that?
a few times I thought I found Walking Dead. That first
okay.
season, I was like, oh, this could be it. This could be like when I say like we're not going to talk about Lost again on this show, I don't think. So I might as well get it out now.
I want to revisit that first episode, last episode idea you had someday. So maybe like for a Tiny Terror, the one I thought
or first entry in the series, last entry in the series.
Yeah, the one I thought about though was like because we wanted to do it with a show we hadn't watched before. I thought like we should do like Vampire Diaries. To see
you ever seen The Sopranos?
You know what? Well, I
haven't.
So I've seen my roommates watch it. So I've seen
bits and pieces.
Like I've seen episodes of it, but not the whole thing.
That'd be a funny one. First episode, last episode.
Yeah.
Wait, what happened to so and so?
But that's
Are they dead?
So The Sopranos, I actually like. It's one of those things like I've always wanted to watch.
I know,
but like I know the ending of it. But like knowing the ending, I think we could do this.
I don't care. Yeah. The Wire too.
I've seen The Wire. Yeah,
never seen the whole thing.
I don't know how that would work because The Wire is different in that each season is kind of. I don't want to say
weirdly
it's an anthology,
focused,
but it's pretty self-contained.
There's some fun ones that we could do though.
Yeah.
Yeah. That could be fun.
Yeah, well, maybe like for a Tiny Terror or something, we'll do that, like a bonus, or maybe you and I just do it and we record it and put it on. You know what? That might not be a bad.
Put on Film Nerds
or that might not be a bad Patreon show.
Yeah,
a nice little bonus show
like
for the people.
Anyway,
sorry.
Lost.
Yes.
Lost. Love Lost. Definitely.
Well, it's not just the castaways. It's not just the stranded on the island stuff for me that reminds me of Lord of the Flies, but obviously it's a lot of the monster on the island with them, the quote-unquote monster on the island with them. And a lot of it stuff, it's obviously inspired by Dark Tower, too, I think, as the Lost. But Stephen King was very inspired. Stephen King actually wrote a foreword for one of the Lord of the Flies like versions that came out. Stephen King's like a fan, and
he's a big fan. I can see that.
Well, and I never put this together. Maybe it's because it's been a while since I've read them. But Castle Rock is a direct reference to a landmark in Lord of the Flies. They mention it in one of the early chapters. Right. So Castle Rock, his town,
that's right.
Is and then I think it is very Lord of the Flies because it's
very much
about a group of kids. Well, is it Ben? The fat one?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Feels very piggy.
Very piggy.
That's that. Yeah. And it's funny though, like the things we just talked about, like Lost, like some of my favorite stuff, like creatively stems from this book in a lot of ways.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So yeah, I think those are some, and it continues, and I'm looking forward. Maybe when the new ones come out, we can revisit this.
I'd be down.
I like this story, and yeah.
It's I do think though just this movie on its own merits without trying to I think it's a solid movie. I really do. I think the child performances are great. I think it's scary. I think it's
very scary.
Yeah. It is well worth a watch, and I don't quite understand all the hate for it that I see sometimes. Yeah. I think it's really, really solid stuff. So yeah. Harry Hook.
Great job.
Love you, bro.
Yeah. Great job, and what did you do after this?
Nothing. Not much.
All right. Anything else on this? You were good?
I'm good.
So I wanted to, for next time, let me try to find the movie I wanted to watch real quick. Do you want to, one more time, give the email address? If you
yes, horrormovieyearbook@gmail.com. Very simple. We try to keep it very simple for you guys. Like, not that we don't have faith in you, but like, why would you not keep it simple?
Yeah.
Keep it simple, stupid. That's the Gene Simmons motto. And we all know we idolize Gene Simmons of all people.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
All right, so this movie is on...
Ace Frehley. That's my boy.
Oh, I wanted to mention, too, with Lord of the Flies, 1990, because if you Google it, it shows that it's only available on Amazon for like 14.
It is not.
Yeah. It's on YouTube for free. And there
are ads.
Yeah.
Up front, I think.
Yeah, up front. And there are going to be two versions you see on YouTube. One of them is like someone uploaded it, which you can watch it if you want, but it's worse quality. YouTube actually has it on the free.
For free.
Tier.
So YouTube. Yes. Don't rent it if you don't have to.
Yes.
Inflation's a bitch.
Yes. Yeah. So this movie I'm picking right now is, I believe it's on a few different stations.
Stations?
Stations. God, I'm old, aren't I?
Jeez, Tim.
Tubo. I think it's on Pluto. I think it's on Shudder. Tubi.
Oh shit!
I can
what
find
is Tubo?
I can find Tubi and Pluto, which would be unstoppable.
That'd be unstoppable. Yeah.
That would beat that Max ESPN thing that I saw the other day, where they're combining the sports channels. Tubi and Pluto would be unstoppable. Basically, what I'm saying is it's out there. This movie is a movie from 1981, starring Jamie Lee Curtis and Stacy Keach. It's called Road Games.
Oh my gosh! What?
This directed by Richard Franklin. This is a movie. A truck driver plays a cat and mouse game with a mysterious serial killer in a van who lures young female hitchhiker victims on a desolate Australian highway. So I've
heard of it.
Yeah,
I've never seen it.
We have not done a lot of Aussie horror on the show. I don't think we've done any. And so I want to do a little bit of this. It reminds me of something like a Duel or a Joyride.
I like that.
I've heard this is a very good movie. So
it's kind of the opposite of space horror. It's really.
So yeah, I want to do this. Road Games. Jamie Lee Curtis.
I'm psyched.
Yeah, this is a movie I've not seen. So
I haven't seen it either.
Yeah.
How cool is that?
Yeah.
What year is it from?
81. So
nice.
This would have been right after Halloween.
The peak of the slasher.
Yes.
It's not a slasher movie necessarily, but
may have some influences. Yeah. But yeah, there was a movie I saw recently that was inspired by a lot of Australian outback horror. So I want to. Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Sick. Awesome. So excited. Thank you guys for listening. We hope you enjoyed. Watch Lord of the Flies. I think a lot of people probably haven't seen this version. Honestly, I could be wrong, but check it out. Do your homework. Watch some Road Games.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll see you guys next time. Yeah, it's gonna be great.